Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit, and I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote into chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. And if you feel like being a lurker, well, guess what? If you want, you can just go ahead and lurk. That's also okay. Lashberg is here. Hello, Lashberg. Happy to have you here. It is, of course, a Thursday night. And on Thursdays, we build model kits. I'm working on the Arios Gundam. As you can see right here, there's the Arios. We finished the head, the chest, one arm. We're working on the other arm. For some reason, we built the weapons before we built the arms. I don't know why we did that, but that's the order of build operations, and we stuck with it. But yeah, I don't have much else to say here in the intro portion, I don't think. So let's go to the overhead camera and start working on an arm. This back piece here that will eventually become the cockpit, it's meant to be bent down here in the build process, but it means that the kit looks like that. So I'm just going to fold it up. Hey, Lord Crashington, welcome, welcome. So I'm just going to fold it up like that. And we'll just kind of keep it like that for now as we work on the hand that feeds. We got to put that on the outside there, and then we're going to start on this. So yeah, let's work on the arm and the hands, and then we'll get it all together. And it'll look great. I have a window open. It's March, and I've got one of my windows open because it is in this house. It is about 70 degrees, which is very comfortable. But you have to remember that's like the average in the house. Where I am in this room, it's warmer than 70 degrees. And in the other rooms of the house, it's colder than 70 degrees. So it's not warm enough to put the air conditioning on, which is understandable, and that's fine. But it is warm enough that this room, the second smallest room in the house, and the hottest room in the house, due to the amount of equipment that I have going in here, means that it's time to open up the ding-dang window. The ding-dang window needs to come open, and that's fine. I'm okay with sweating in here. If needed, I will sweat. I will work up a sweat, and that is okay, because the alternative is that, there's no real alternative. Like, the alternative is I sweat even more. Because what I'm not going to do is say, hey, can we put the air on? Because we don't need the air conditioning to be on in the rest of the house. We only need to be on in my room. So that's where we're at. That is the one of the problems with central air conditioning. Because if it was room to room air conditioner, if I had a mini split in here, or a window unit, then I would just turn it on, and that would be perfect. It would be great, honestly, if that was a viable solution. It is not a viable solution. The viable solution is that I just open up a window and sweat a little bit, and it's okay. Eventually, it will get hot enough in the rest of the house in a couple days that we will put the air conditioning on, and then it will be unbelievably comfortable in this room. Because when the air's on in here, it feels good. It's real cool. Haha. I didn't mean to say it like that. Please understand. But yeah, that's it. My allergies are going to start whooping my butt very soon. That is, we are in the just a matter of time section here, in the area. My allergies are going to start being real bad. But for now, I went for a walk in shorts, and that was nice today. It was a nice day for a walk. I put this together without this piece being in there, so I have to separate it. I'm going to get the part separator out. Glad I noticed it now, but wish I had noticed it before I did it. You know how that goes. You get it. All right, this goes like this, and this goes like that. And then this goes like that. And it goes together like that. And then this piece here, we want it to go like this, so that the clear piece of plastic that has the sticker behind it is on the outside where you can see it, not the inside where you couldn't see it, because we're doing this arm here. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. I would describe this kit. There are a couple things about this kit that are a little weird, but like, this is the upgraded version of the Curios. And so by the time they get to this in season 2, they kind of understand how these kits go together. That is one of the nice things about model kits of this era, is like anything that was particularly odd about a kit kind of gets ironed out after a while, after a fashion. They kind of figure out what the kit actually needs to work, and then they get it done, which is nice. Not all the time. There are kits from this era that were not good, that were like second or third revisions of a mobile suit, and you're like, it's still bad. But the Curios, I have never built the high grade of the Curios, so I don't remember too much of that. But I did build the master grade of the Curios, which was very good, and is the best transformation I've ever made. It has like a fight mode, but it has a flight mode, and then also like a attack mode thing. And this kit has similar. Of course, it's a high grade, not a master grade, so it'll be different in some aspects, but the idea is still the same. And I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing how that turns out, because, like I said, the Curios is my favorite of the mobile suits that transform. It's just like really well designed. I've always thought that was fantastic. I had high hopes that they would figure out the Epion. I really wish that the Epion real grade transformed well, but I just think that's impossible. I just think that's not gonna turn out good. You know what I mean? Hey, Snuffy, I will check that in just a second. I want to finish this thought, 'cause sometimes I don't, and it bothers me later. The Epion real grade is a good real grade up until the point where it has to become the two-headed dragon flight mode, and it's not good. But also, there's never been a good version of that, because I don't think there can be. That's just my thought on that. We finished the thought. Now I will see. Snuffy says, Pat, I saw you on and think you're a good person to share a thought that I had. Playing Marathon, the little runner shells from the game seem like they would be well suited to a Gunpla style model kit with panels bolted onto skeletal frames. So, full disclosure, I have not played Marathon at all. There has not been a lot of interest within my multiplayer crew to play, so we haven't. That might change now that it's out in the wild. But like, one of my friends in the multiplayer crew played the server stress test and was like, yeah, it's pretty good. If other people wanted to play it, I'd get it. We just haven't. So I can only tell you based on what I've seen of the game. And from what I've seen of the game, I agree with you that there are definitely people on the design team that have at least a passing interest in Gunpla. There's definitely, because like the not really cyberpunk, but like neo-noir punk cyber elements to it, of the design aesthetic, like do lend themselves to like cool robots that are mass produced kind of a thing. Neo Marathon is really only something you should play if you think the idea of extraction shooter is very your thing. It looks cool, mechanically side, it's 110% pure extraction shooter dogfighting. And Stuffy says, extraction shooter are very much not usually my thing, but I tried the server slam and kind of hooked me. Yeah, so like that I get, right? Extraction shooters, not really my thing. I didn't even play Arc Raiders, which is the extraction shoot. Well, let's say when it first came out, it was the extraction shooter for people that don't like extraction shooters because it added the element of like maybe we're gonna work together. In this situation, this doesn't have to be PvP because the PvE element is so tough that like maybe we could be all cool right now. And that intrigued me. I never actually ended up playing Arc Raiders, and now I know it's not. Now that like it's settled into the people that love Arc Raiders, it's not always that element because the people that were like, oh, I'll give this a shot, gave it a shot, liked it, moved on to the next thing that they wanted to give a shot to. And then it's been left with, this is my understanding based on friends who play Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is now at a point where it is mostly people who are gung the fuck ho about Arc Raiders, and that's not exclusively or predominantly people who are willing to be cool. It is more new player friendly, but you're still going to have 90% of your gameplay be roll in, get fucked completely by some sweat lord. Yeah. Yeah, it's cutthroat. Yeah. And so I find myself not really looking for PvE extraction element stuff. I don't mind PvE, of course, I should say. While I am not primarily a third-person shooter kind of person or a first-person shooter kind of person, I do like playing with friends video games, and there was a time in my life, I've mentioned this on stream before, but there was a time in my life where I played Halo every weekend for like 2 years, Halo and Halo 2, like 2 to 3 years. We played every weekend. We were at my friend Terry's house playing Halo. And I got an Xbox to get better at Halo. So that I was still having fun, even if I was bad, but I wanted to get a little better. And I played a lot of Halo because because I wanted to play video games with my friends from work and from the comedy world, because when we played Halo, we didn't talk about comedy. Now, sometimes we would take like dinner breaks and then conversation would come about comedy. That's why I got into poker. I didn't get to poker because I wanted to win money off of my friends. That was nice, but that wasn't why I did it. I started playing Texas Hold'em because it was hanging out with people I liked and not talking shop, which I was fine with doing, but I also wanted to talk about pop culture. I wanted to talk about like the Super Bowl, I guess. You know, I wanted to talk about stuff and hang out with my friends. Like sometimes you just want to talk about an album that's out, like because you're trying to convince more people that Chromio is a throwback, is a modern sensibility with a throwback vibe, and their new album fucking rips. This is, again, the mid-2000s into 2010s. You want people to know. I wanted my friends to know that I thought that Chromio fucking whipped. And so I wanted to talk about it. And you can't do that if you're at a table at a bar at 1 a.m. talking about what people think they need to do to take the next step in their long-form improv careers, which was also a conversation I was having and wanted to be having, but I wanted to have other conversations. So like the social element, and now multiplayer games are things I play with a core group of friends because it is our social time together, and it fucking rules. That was why I put so many hours into Halo Infinite. That's why I played Firebreak, a game that I don't think is that great, but it was a game that I could play with friends. It's why I played so many hours of like duos in that fucking WB fighting thing. Their thing that's like kind of a fight, like, metaverse. Was that what? I don't even remember the fucking name of it. I was playing goddamn Shaggy and Batman in Multiverses. Thank you, Last Rook. Multiverses. I was playing Multiverses because duos was a thing I could always get going. There was always somebody that wanted to play duos. And so it was like, okay, we're playing this now. Sure. Like, that's why I play multiplayer games. That being said, I have standards. The crew wants to get back into Helldivers 2. I'm there for it. I'm into it. No problem. There's a new extraction shooter that costs $40. Like, I don't want to paint myself as somebody that can't spend $40 on a video game, but it has to be a game that I think I'm going to play for more than like a week. You know? Like $40 is $40. Like that's like 2.5 good indie games. 2 very good top tier indie, AAA indies. Like that's a chunk of goddamn change. $40 is one of the best model kits I've ever built. That's the Megatron. The Blockies Megatron was $40. Like that's $40 is like 2 old high grades. It's one new high grade and one good new high grade and change. Like I do have to think that way. $40 is not something that I'd be like, didn't notice I bought. You know, I'm not in that position right now. That's just where I'm at in the meantime. $15 video game, like, yeah, oh yeah, I got that. Oh, that game seems neat. I just got that. $20 indie title, like, sometimes I kind of have to decide that I want it. You know, I kind of have to think about it. I got to put a little thought into it. That's just where I'm at. So, as much as I would love to say that I'm like, well, there's a new video game and it looks really cool and I'm day one, like I kind of have to think about it. Now, if my entire multiplayer crew was like, or the majority were like, oh yeah, well, the next 5 times we're going to get together, we're all playing it, then I might pick it up because I want to play with my friends. I want to play video games with my friends. I don't know if I would have gotten Peak without the fact that there was one of our friends was really interested in playing Peak, and like they did a duo, and I watched on Twitch or on Discord, I should say, and I was like, I'm buying it, and I bought Peak because my friends were like, oh, we should get Peak. Like they were playing it, and I was like, I had watched people play it on Steam or on Twitch or whatever, and I was like, I mean, this is a cheap enough video game that I could just fucking buy this goddamn video game. Peak is, I'm looking at it. I forgot how much Peak was, so I'm looking at it. Peak is $8. Like, I was on the fence about it, but like, it was fun. My friends were playing it. I could buy it, download it, and play it with them. So I was like, I'm getting Peak. I'm just going to get the game. And I had a good time with it. And if it comes up, I'm not probably going to suggest Peak again, but if it comes up in conversation, I'm going to fucking play Peak again. Because it was fun. And it was fun to hang out with the crew. That's kind of what I'm looking for these days. I'm looking for weird, like, I'm looking for fun simulators. Not games that simulate fun. Simulator games that are fun. And that is a distinction that I have to make, because sometimes people talk about, when I say simulators, they sometimes think that I mean like I mean Power Wash Simulator. I don't mean, or like a PC Builder, like those kind of things. I don't mean the simulations, like I don't want to drive a car or a truck long distances and simulate real life. I don't want to do that. I don't want to drive a train. If you want to do that, that's awesome. I have certainly am not like you're dumb for wanting to do this. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that your friend Pat, me, I don't want to drive a truck. I don't want to drive cargo long distances in a truck. That's not the kind of sim I'm looking for. There is a arcade sims, right? There were two kinds of arcade sims, two styles of arcade sims. There were in Japan when arcades were still king. There was this is a silly extrapolation of a concept, and well, because of rigid job structures, because of the way things are in Japanese society, where you have very little say in what direction you're going in because of your family. There were people who would do their day job, and then they would go to an arcade, and then they would do a very like focused and as realistic as possible simulator of the job they dreamed of having, like a bulldozer. There were bulldozer sims that were like very good and technically sound for people that were like, yeah, as a kid, I thought it would be cool to use a bulldozer, but I had to go in and join the company my father worked at his whole life. And you're like, oh yeah, very popular in Germany too, says Snuffy. Yeah, I mean, like Germany in particular, Europe in generalities, we'll say here, are also where the focused, accurate simulator is very appreciated and desired, right? There are farming simulators that like sell ridiculously high in Europe that are unbelievably practical and accurate. And it's like, great, that's awesome. That's not for me. I don't think it ever will be for me, but I get it and I respect it. When I think about simulators, I am looking for like Power Wash Simulator. If in Power Wash Simulator you had a set amount of water, or if you use too much water, you could damage the thing you were cleaning. It would not be in my top 5 most played games on my Steam list. It would not. I would have played it, and I would have seen the creativity, and I would have enjoyed it. But like, I wouldn't have kept coming back to Power Wash Simulator if there was like a damage, if I like watered something too good. If standing on the top of a soft convertible from an ancient vehicle damaged the car, then I wouldn't have been doing it as much as I did, because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm sure there are people that play Power Wash Simulator are like, it's not the simulation I'm looking for. This is too easy. I'm sure there are people that think that. That ain't me. But I'm sure there are people that are like that. That's not the kind of sim they're looking for. I don't know. I like I like a goof game. I want an arcade racer more than I want I don't want to play a racing game pretty much at all. But if I am going to play a racing game, I want to play a racing game where I don't have to shift. You know what? Like I want a racing game where there's a boost. If you want the nitro, you got the boost, but like you don't have to worry about shifting and downshifting. Like I don't want to do that. I don't want to drive a manual car in a racing game. If that's how you like racing games, hell yeah. I'm glad they still make those and you can play them. But that is not what that ain't what I'm about. All right, we got 16. I remember somebody said like, This was a friend of a friend. We were having conversations about mods, and they didn't like mods that like let you cheat in games. They only liked mods that added difficulty. They like difficulty slider mods because they were like, no, I like it when a game like you have to like when you can really make it challenging. And I was just like, oh, that's not me. I don't want that. I want one-shot KOs. I want to shoot a thing and it just dies, and then I move on to the next thing because I'm not there for the challenge. I'm there for the atmosphere and all the other fucking bullshit. And that's not everybody, but that is me. I've never downloaded a mod for a game that makes like it more difficult. Like, no thanks. The super hardcore, like we made our own harder difficulty than the difficulty that's in there. It's like, okay, I mean, hell yeah, but no thank you. Hell yeah for you. No thank you for me. All right, so we've got a little bit of an update thing. Look, I would love to never talk about Build a Rocket Boy and Mind's Eye. Build a Rocket Boy, the studio that made Mind's Eye. But like, the CEO is still talking the dumbest fucking shit in the world. And so like we kind of still need to keep talking about it because they won't stop. So we kind of need to keep going. So this is Leslie Benzi's studio. They put out a Mind's Eye. It was clearly rushed and unfinished. It was not the whole world thing they were trying to make. It was just a video game that was clearly flawed and not particularly well received. The people that liked it were still like, most people I know that liked it were still like, yeah, it's all right. Like that was the best. So the chief executive of Build a Rocket Boy posted on LinkedIn. It is laid off a number of employees. There have been more layoffs there. And he says, as leaders, we take responsibility for the outcomes of our projects and the decisions act follow. At the same time, the launch period was affected by factors beyond normal operation challenges and a competitive environment. So this is their thing. He's at least acknowledging that the buck should stop with him and other people on the business suite side. So he's at least paying lip service to the fact that they should be saying, hey, at the end of the day, it's all on us. But instead, they will then go, even though obviously there are extenuating circumstances. And you're like, what are those extenuating circumstances, Pat? Well, that's sabotage. Build a Rocket Boy and their video game Mind's Eye was sabotage. Now, part of that is, most of that I should say is coverage, which is laughable. Because bad reviews didn't make that game the game it is. That's just the game. Like, and that's the thing that like they just seem to not be able to comprehend is like, oh, you don't know that you made a video game that people didn't really like. Over the past months, we've been working with external partners and legal advisors to investigate the criminal activity that took place around our launch. That work has taken far longer than expected, but it has now resulted in overwhelming evidence of organized espionage and corporate sabotage affecting Mind's Eye. Because this matter is moving towards prosecution, we cannot share full details publicly yet. Then why are you talking about it? If you are going to press charges, if there is going to be prosecution, shut up. Because they're not, right? They don't have anything. If they did pay investigators, what investigators found was like, yeah, your video game just didn't hit. You didn't make a great video game. Maybe some people, maybe the thing you could point at over anything else, if you really wanted to do the work to figure out what went wrong, you could make the argument that people enjoyed dumping on Mind's Eye once it came out. Once people got to see Mind's Eye and were like, this is the fucking video game, they were thrilled to be like, look at this dumb bullshit. If you want to say that is sabotage or espionage, then I guess, brother, that's what you're saying. But like, that's the thing, the only thing that can be that, in my opinion, can be levied. Lunar J just raided with a party of 30. Welcome, raiders. Thank you very much for the raid. We gave a shout out to we got to give a shout out here. Yes, we give a shout out to Lunar Jade. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, we're building a model kit. Here, you can see it right here. We're working on the Arios Gundam. The Arios Gundam is from Gundam 00. It is in Pokemon terms, it's the evolved form of the Kyrios Gundam. Basically, they took the Kyrios Gundam and they modified it and built a new Gundam. If you're looking at it and you go, I bet that thing becomes a plane. You're right. It does become a plane. This piece is normally like this. It folds up. And then these pieces, eventually, it's going to have like it's going to be a whole thing, and it's going to have a flight mode like this. Some things fold up and then it flies. I don't know. Obviously, we're not there yet, but it does have a flight mode, which is cool. I mean, that's just cool. We were talking a bit. I'm not going to get too much into more of this here, but Build a Rocket Boy keeps the company Build a Rocket Boy, the makers of Mind's Eye and nothing else, keep talking about sabotage. They've laid off. They've had over 100 layoffs now of employees. And here's the thing that I will say. One last thing about this before we move on. Build a Rocket Boy. Believe Benzies thinks that, like, Benzies has not flat out said that Rockstar sabotaged them. But he has said numerous times that he thinks that there was a concrete effort to mess with the video game and its launch. That's their thing. They've been saying that. Despite the fact that that's insane. Now, there was an open letter by current and former employees, some of whom have been laid off since, that contain an open letter to the higher-ups containing allegations of disastrous mismanagement. They claimed that studio leadership pushed employees to work unbearable levels of overtime while completely mishandling the layoff process. So that's the counterpoint, and that's an important counterpoint when we're talking about this. The top level at that company believe that their game was really good, and any reason to think that it's not is sabotage. And the lower level employees are saying, you're bad at your job and you fucked this up. And you're also bad at laying people off due to local labor laws. And so that is food for thought when it comes to that and what we're doing here. We're going to be applying stickers. That's what we're going to be doing now. We're going to apply some stickers. Tripwire Interactive has laid off 23 employees. This is the Embracer-led subsidiary Tripwire. 23. Let's see. Workforce reduction because people are cruel. They're the people that made Killing Floor. Involving needs of the business, all that stuff. They were acquired in 2022. Yeah, so that looks like they're still working, but they are still supporting Killing Floor 3 with seasonal updates while they hopefully work on something new. We don't know how many employees are still there. Embracer continues to be bad for bad. I mean, bad is that is probably putting it too lightly. Awful for employees that work there. Just a fucking rough one. No good way to no way to sugarcoat that. It's just a bad time. All right. Put this on like that. Getting some stickers here. That's right. We are doing color correcting stickers. Is it a shame? Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that we have to apply stickers like this, but it is what it is. Do I wish that this was like a piece of orange plastic that just fit in to this white plastic? Oh, I got a little nub in here to get off. Yeah, I do wish that was the case. It's a high grade. I understand, you know. Hit from 2009, like, I get it. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. This kit does not have too many stickers, so I'm not like I'm not mad about it. It's just, you know, it's not ideal. I would prefer if it didn't have this many stickers. At least it's not too hard to put these on. So right now I'm just trying to line up this bend in the plastic with the bend in the sticker. Pat, you don't have to answer, but where do you buy Gunpla? So I unfortunately, and again, I gotta say, this is unfortunate. Unfortunately, the predominant place that I pick up model kits is Amazon. I am in a position where I do not have a local retail store. I wish I did. So I do when I can. I buy kits off of Gundam Planet or USA Gundam Store, which are, you know, big businesses in the grand scheme of things, but compared to like Amazon, they're definitely smaller businesses. So I do try to use those when I can. If there was a local near me that I could go to, I certainly would, and I wish that was the case. Unfortunately, is not the case. But like I said, if I could, I would definitely do that. I don't really use Baer all that much. I occasionally will look on places like Facebook Marketplace for like unopened, you know, kits that people have bought when they're trying to dump their collection, that kind of thing. I will look at that on occasion. Not a lot of hits in this area. I wish there was a store that had any amount of model kits. The closest is when like the Gundam Battle Breakalog had some kits at like Target. Like that was the closest I've gotten about anything around here, unfortunately. But yeah, I would love to support locally, but unfortunately I can't. I do look at places to import now and again, but the other thing is I've been doing this a real long time, and so I'm really buying new kits as they come out and occasionally buying older kits as they appear places. But I've built a lot of model kits over the last few years. So yeah. Those are basically the places. A lot of third-party sellers on Amazon. Occasionally, I will look on eBay, but I try to avoid eBay unless it is like... Sometimes I have my heart set on something, and I can't find it anywhere, so I look on eBay. That's kind of it. Like, last year, for my streaming anniversary, I built again the very first model kit that I ever built on stream. And luckily, I was able to find that on Amazon. If I want to build the second kit I ever built, which I honestly, at this very moment, don't remember what that was. It was kind of fun to build the first one. And then I'm going to go to, let's see, I'm going to look at Studio here. I'm going to look at Build with Baer. Look at Okay, I gotta look at YouTube. I gotta look in my playlists. I gotta look at, let's see. Okay. Panels and conventions, not that, not that. Build with Baer Workshop. Okay, go to the full playlist here. Pause this video so it doesn't play. We go all the way down and we start looking at, let's see. Oh. Why does that cut off there? That's annoying. All right. That's not the, there it is. Sorry, everybody. It wouldn't show me my earliest ones. So let's see. The early Build with Baer, I didn't say the names of what kits I was working on in the title. So I have to look at a couple videos here. I'm just going to quickly look to see, and we can see if I can figure out what I was working on. All right, that's that. I can see what that is. What is this one? Okay, the second model kit I ever worked on was a Death Scythe Hell custom that had clear parts. They're never going to find that again. I'm never going to find that kit again. Okay, so that's good to know. It was, yeah, I'm never going to build that again. It's good to know that. All right, I couldn't remember what it was. What was the second thing I ever worked on? It was this pretty cool Death Scythe, but I'm not going to be able to work on the kit. I do not have a page. No, I do not have that. I should have been, from day one of building, I should have been keeping track, and I didn't keep track. Someday I could go through and really like look through all my videos and figure it out. But I probably should have. Yeah, all right. This is the Death Scythe from Endless Waltz. Hell custom Endless Waltz clear. I wonder if I can even find that. Is that on Amazon here? Yes, metallic and clear kit. Okay, it's only on Amazon right now, $58 with $20 delivery. So yeah, because it's coming from a shipper in Japan. Yeah, so I'm not going to build the second thing I ever built. On eBay right now, somebody is trying to get $150 for it, and it is in used condition. Figure with box opened. It's unbuilt though. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to build that. That's cool that I built that in the first place. So yeah, I'm not building the second kit I ever worked on stream, it looks like. Let's see what else. Oh, there's me talking. Still working on the Death Scythe there. All right. And let's see on stream 10. What do we got on stream 10? What was the 10th Build with Baer stream? What did I do on that stream? What was I doing? Oh, okay. The Master Gundam. That was the Master Gundam. I believe that is a master grade Master Gundam. Yeah, all right. Yep, I got a screwdriver out in this photo. Okay. I can maybe do that again. I have been thinking about like my streaming anniversary this year. It's February. It's March now, I should say. It's not February. It's March. So like I've got fucking time to think about it, but I have on occasion thought about that. Like, oh, what do I do? I liked doing the very first kit I ever built again. That was neat. But I don't know if I would do something like that again. I have plenty of time. One of these days, we'll get a real grade Master Gundam. Lastberg, I definitely think that's true. I think the Master Gundam real grade is a distinct possibility. I think that is a thing that will happen at some point. Okay. So You go here into this track. Is that right? You go into this track. Is that how you work? You go in here. This makes sense. But where this goes, I'm not fully confident. You go like that? Okay, because you stick up some. Well, when I do the other leg, this will not take as much time because I will have figured this out. But right now, being a little tricky. Okay, so you go, use an arrow. I want to say it goes like that, but it doesn't. It goes somewhere. And then this goes in like this. This I get. This piece I get. This piece I don't quite get. I don't know how it goes together. But there is a poly cap here, so I do know that exists. Polycap 1. And then the other piece I need is B9. Let's see. High guard is shutting down. Shit's fucking rough out there. There will be people who have much more knowledge and understanding of these kind of things than me that will talk better about these sorts of things. The only thing that I can really say about high guard shutting down that is that people with money want the next Fortnite, but don't want to hear from people who are going to make a video game that Fortnite wasn't Fortnite when it launched. Like, they don't want to hear that part, and until they're willing to hear that part, this shit just is going to it's never going to fucking work until they're willing to hear that like, well, you got to give it like any amount of time. Now when they initially were like, oh, we're doing layoffs, it was like, and they were a fully funded studio without like, my original thought was like, oh, okay, well, you plan to do layoffs no matter what. I said that. I don't stand by that thought, but at the time, that was my thought was, oh, well, you always planned on doing layoffs. This was part of your business plan. Like, that's the only thing I can think of, because that's the only thing that makes any sense to me is, oh, you must have had, like, you always were planning to lay people off. Like, there's no other way around it. I think this is how we're supposed to look. Like, that's what I thought then. That probably isn't actually the case, because while not confirmed, there have been numerous reports that they did have investment, and then that investment dried up and they pulled out. And so they were just left holding the bag. And in that instance, it's like, okay, and yeah, a lot of this makes sense. But at the same time, hey, we just got raided by Puppet Jared. We're getting so many goddamn cool-ass raids tonight. That rules. Welcome, raiders. I'm working on the Arios Gundam, and I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for being here. I don't know how this works, and I'm doing my best to try to figure it out. But welcome. I'm Pat Baer. I build model kits and Lego sets. Hopefully people have fun while I'm here. I'm working on the Arios Gundam. It is a Gundam from the anime Gundam 00. It does have a transformation. At some point, it will have a flight mode. and a battle mode. Right now I'm working on the leg, and I'm going to be honest with you folks, I'm struggling to figure out what I'm doing wrong with this goddamn leg. This piece needs to go in somehow, and I haven't quite figured out how that works. This instruction manual is from 2009. There is no English in it. And as I've always said, it's remarkable that they started putting more English in model kit instruction booklets, and we're lucky for it. But they didn't owe that to me in 2009. It would have been fucking nice. Now, it doesn't account for sometimes you just look at a model kit and you're like, I don't know what the fuck. What do you want from me? What are you asking me to do here? What is this? That's sometimes the case where I'm like, what do you want? Is it like this? Is this how we're supposed to do it? But yeah, I'm struggling to figure out how this goes together, this piece. I'm going to look forward ahead here. That's not good. Maybe I can look at some of the pieces there. Yeah, all right. Because it needs to... Basically, it's like a front fin. This piece goes here. This is part of the leg here. And then it's kind of got to like be able to move around some. How? I don't know. Like this, kind of. It's got to go like this, I guess. Maybe that's it. Then this piece. Goes like this. Every once in a while, I get a model kit where I'm like, I don't know what you want from me, model kit. And then I do the other side of the kit, and it goes much better because I have had the time to figure it out. Now, there's one thing that I haven't accounted for. When something doesn't work, the first thing I try to look at is, am I understanding the instructions and what the instructions are telling me to do? And sometimes that's the case. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, the instructions are a little weird, or I'm having trouble understanding them. There is another thing, which we have not gotten to yet, which is important. Is this the right piece? Did I get the right piece off the sprue? Does it just look similar to the piece I want? Is this piece B7? Because there exists the possibility that this piece is not B7. And when I get the real B7, this will just work. And it will make sense. And this is like the other part for the other side of the other leg. And I have got the wrong piece out. So we're going to see. No, this is B7. Okay, yeah. We got B7 and we got B6 out here. So like, or B9. Yeah, okay, that's B7. Ooh, but the... one of these is B6. Okay, all right. So the other piece is the one that's wrong. Okay. So now we have B9 out. This is B9, which is this is the other side piece here that goes like this. Okay. So one of these pieces was wrong. And that might make this work better. It might actually just work better if I'm like, oh yeah, I just had the wrong fucking piece on there. Okay, so that's going to go like that. This fits in here like that. This goes on here. Folds over. Okay. There. All right. This has got some movement, but not too much movement. And this can slide around because it has a transformation. So it'll look like this for most of the time, but then in flight mode, it'll turn like that. Okay. So the answer to the question, why is this not working, was user error. So there you go. That's why. It's a little confusing, but it was mostly me fucking up, which is the reason why a lot of this time that stuff happens. And it is a thing where I normally am pretty good at just going like, oh, okay, I have to breathe here and figure it out. And then we do figure it out, which is nice. I'm not going to take a pause for the cause. Folks that are new here, a thing I do often is I take a little break to kind of promote myself. I will just say, if you would like to hit the follow button, I would love that. If you want to become a subscriber, that would be great. It would be really cool if you want to do that. You don't have to do that, but if you wanted to, that would be cool. It is an option. You don't have to worry about that stuff. But if you'd like to, it would be cool. I will just post a video I would love for you to check out. Kuma Baer is the name of a video series that I do. I'm putting a link in the chat. Kuma Baer is a weekly anime recommendation series. I do it as shorts on YouTube. They are under a minute long. They could be a minute and a half, but I keep them under a minute because that is a nice challenge for me. And as the title suggests, Kuma Baer is recommendations of anime. Every month I have a different theme. This theme's month is cozy, like girls doing things shows. And what does that mean, Pat? Well, girls doing things is a kind of made up subgenre of anime where it is generally a chill time. Occasionally they're not, but it's usually about a group of girls that have a shared thing, or there are girls that like a thing and the main character didn't know that thing was cool, and through them learning about it, we learn about how cool and cozy that thing is. And the video that the anime I talk about in this video is Ms. Kozumi Loves Ramen Noodles, which is a slice of life about a girl who is like beautiful but aloof. And it turns out the only thing she's passionate about is ramen and going to ramen places. And the only way you can really engage her in conversation is if it's about ramen and you're not interrupting her ramen time. So it is a cozy anime about this girl that loves ramen and the girls that kind of flock around her and kind of build a life with her about this, like shared passions. It is a show that will make you hungry. So please, if you'd like, watch the 1 minute video I made about that anime before to see if that's something you want to do. But I will be recommending more cozy girls doing things shows this month because, like I said, every month has a theme. Kuma Baer is one of my favorite things that I get to work on because I love chit-chatting about anime. Did I put this on upside down? No. That looks right. When I look at it there. Oh, okay. It goes like that. All right. Okay. So I am doing this correct. Okay. When it opens like this, then it collapses. But when it's normally, it's like this. And this piece actually keeps it from collapsing on itself in leg mode. This is cool. These are things I did not know about this kit. So I'm learning about this kit as we build it. I built the predecessor of the Arios Gundam, the Arios Gundam, but I built a master grade of that, and it behaved differently. Also, it was a while since I built that, so I don't remember every part of it. My memory's pretty good about kits, but like I said, I couldn't remember the second kit I ever built on stream. And turns out it was a kit that at the time was also probably pretty rare. And I bet I bought I don't think I bought that at Gundam Planet. I bet I bought that at Image Anime, which I believe still exists in New York. I believe that they survived, being a store in New York. I'm pretty sure that they're still in operation. I bet I bought it there. I bought a lot of kits there. It was nice when I lived in a place where I could just go out and if it was the day before I had a stream and I was like, shit, I ran out of model kits to build, I could just leave my house and go get a model kit. Now, if my backlog goes down to nothing and I have a stream, I have to overnight a Lego set or something from Amazon. I guess I could. There are places around here I could go and get Lego. So that's not fully accurate. If I really wanted to, I could get some Lego, but it's not like buying a model kit around here is just not as I mentioned, not a possibility. So yeah, I would love for you to check it out. And while you're there, if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel for free, of course, that would be neat. I would love if you want to do that. My next stream will be on Saturday. I will be finishing up this kit and starting something new. There will be a poll for my $10 patrons on Patreon to discuss what I'm going to build there. My patrons are currently voting, my $3, $5, and $10 patrons over on patreon.com/Baer are currently voting on what I do next Tuesday. I have a thing once a month on a Tuesday. My $3, $5, and $10 patrons get to decide what I do. I give them some ideas, and then they vote. It's called Patreon's Choice. And I have 3 options for them. They are voting if they want to see me achievement hunt in Leave It Alone. The indie video game Leave It Alone has, there are a couple achievements I could get in that. I don't normally achievement hunt, but I like that game and I wanted an excuse to play it. And so I have that as an option. There also is the option of revisiting for the first time in 6 years, Fire Pro Wrestling World. That is Fire Pro Wrestling World, still out there. People are still making stuff for that. So I would do a stream of that game because it's been a very long time, because I'm not buying WWE's game this year. I'm done buying those games. They're just not good. And then also now they're not feature parity between PC and console. And so it looks like a lot of the people that make cool shit for that game, a lot of CPUs, a lot of those people are on console, not PC. So I'm like, it's like what the big reason to play those games is kind of gone. And then the third option is a randomizer. I'm continuing to do a run of Pokemon Heart Gold, and that is up for vote on me continuing that randomizer run. So those are the 3 options that my $3, $5, and $10 patrons have. If you are a patron over on my Patreon, please vote for one of those 3 things. Right now it's tied. So you could be the tiebreaker, or you could make it a 3-way tie, I guess. You could really fuck things up if you wanted to. But yeah. Let's see. Anything else we want to... we have other stuff we can talk about. I'm going to save the anime talk because we have a bunch of people here who are not here normally. I have decided I am not going to talk about like episodes of an anime you might not be watching. I will just kind of give you an overview of what I am watching right now and give you some recommendations if you're looking for stuff to watch. There is a lot of very good queer content right now. We're doing so good with sorry, let me just look up the name of the show again because it escapes me. But it is an interesting thing that I'm pretty psyched about. There are a lot of cool ass queer anime that are out right now, and so if that is something that you're interested in, you can check those out, and I think you will enjoy them. Let me find the video I'm looking for some names, but I'll find it. Isekai Office Worker, The Other World's Books Depends on the Bean Counter, is an isekai, of course. So I know for some people that is a no thank you. That is a no thanks, Pat. I'm not interested in an isekai. Totally understand. What if I told you that the main character in that show, in order to allow him to be able to be in this fantasy world with magic, which his body is not adjusted for, he can't handle, he ends up having sex with a handsome man in order to transfer protection so that he is, and that is a true thing. That is the fucking fan fiction ass / fiction ass reasoning for casual sexual encounters in an anime between 2 gentlemen. It is also a really good story and a good watch, but like it is very silly. And that is a very good show that's out this season. I am now looking for the other names of some of the other shows that I'm recommending here. The Invisible Man and His Soon-to-Be Wife is a romantic comedy. It is a work-based situational comedy about a detective, a private detective, who happens to be invisible. And one of his employees is a blind woman that can see him. Her senses, that is. And she's just a really sweet person, and he's falling in love with her. And she's starting to appreciate him, and it's lovely. It is a lovely, weird little series, which, should add, we just found out that one of the characters in that show, a minor character in that show, is gay. So there is gay romance in that show, and it was a fun bit of reveal. It was not the butt of a joke, but there were jokes involved, which is a distinction that we have to make because of media literacy. Because I'm sure there are some people out there that are like, they're making light of this relationship because there were jokes happening in this show where there are jokes. But yeah, that one is very good. That is a good bit of business. Let's see if I can find the other show. Let's see. So videos, Crunchyroll. Another, continuing with the theme of romance anime that has queer messaging or has queer characters. So this one is an interesting thing to say here. In the Clear Moonlit Dusk is not a queer anime by definition, because it is a romance anime between a heterosexual male and a heterosexual female. But it is written in the style of a high school boys' love show, because the female lead is like a Prince character. Not capital P Prince the singer, lowercase p Prince the ideal. She is a androgynous, perhaps masculine, pretty boy character. She's the kind of girl that girls who have crushes on boys also have a crush on. And she meets another pretty boy who at first thinks that she's a boy, and a friendship kind of develops. But now he's catching feelings, she's having misunderstandings. It's a whole thing. But it does use the tropes of boy meets boy, like pretty boy meets pretty boy. It just so happens that one of the pretty boys is a lady, a young lady. And so it is like playing with some of the trappings of queer romance while not being a queer show, but it's like genuinely well done. It's a good one of those. That's probably it for the romance stuff that I want to recommend. If people are looking for some anime this season, check out. Frieren Season 2. Hey. Mista says, Fate, Strange Fake has been quite fun so far if you're into Fate stuff. Yes, I have a feeling that if you are someone that likes the Fate series, then you already know what you think of Fate, Strange Fake. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, to me, I don't know if people are like, I've always wondered what's going on with Fate. Like, I hope that's not their first one, because it, as far as I am aware, plays with some of the stuff in it. But like, yeah, I feel like probably people know. But if you're just behind and you're like, oh, I like all of the Fate shows, yeah, I've heard that that's a good one. So hell yeah. I'm glad. What else? Trying to think about the other stuff here. Frieren season 2, if you liked Frieren season 1, season 2 is more of that good stuff. If you didn't like Frieren, I get it. I don't agree with you. I think you're missing out on one of the best modern anime. That Frieren is unbelievably phenomenal. And I will even give it a pass for it having a long arc where it introduced a bunch of new characters. One of my least favorite things in anime. It's still unbelievably good. And season 2 is more of that good shit. Fire Force has its 3rd season. Fire Force season 3 is happening right now. It's good. I am still amazed that we got Fire Force season 2. I'm just as amazed that we're getting Fire Force season 3 because I did not think the first season did particularly well. Apparently it did well enough that eventually they were like, hey, let's do more of this, which rules, because I think that Fire Force is a lot of fun. It does have its problems. There is a female character who has bad luck, and that is clothing based. And that just fucking sucks. It is a trope that feels like it is 15 to 20 years old. You know what I mean? 30 years old. It is we talked about this the other day, how sometimes there is a Mineta in a show. And that could be a character like Mineta from My Hero Academia, or it can be like a character trait or something where you're just like, yeah, this show is great. Oh, there's some anime bullshit in there that you kind of have to like, you don't have to be okay with it, but like, you got to be aware that that's there. Like, it's just like, you know, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid rules. There's like some Mineta shit in there. There are characters who behave in certain ways where it's like, there's an episode where it's like a young girl is just trying to play Twister with her young girlfriend that she is enamored with, and it's weird. It's a weird scene. I don't like it. There's a big boobed dragon that lives with a young boy. That's not great. There are parts of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid that are not great. And like, while it's a show that I go, is a fun, like show where it's just like, it's a fun adventure show, and the dragon, like, there are very little fight scenes, but they put so much effort into them. They look phenomenal. And at its core, it is a interesting love story. But also there are parts of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid that are not good and hard to recommend. That's just it. That unfortunately is anime. I'm trying to think, is there anything this season that is like, this is like, oh, there's a Mineta, like I said, Fire Force. There are some parts of it where I'm just like, oh, god damn it, this is not funny. I know this is supposed to be comic relief, but you didn't nail it, and then you kept doing it. And then when they did the anime adaptation, they didn't edit that and change it, which they could have. It's like, that's a shame sometimes. Let's see. All right, we need C13, C14. I'm trying to think if there's any other anime this season that I would recommend. If you like overpowered main characters, there are a few. Hell Mode is on High Dive, and I think Hell Mode is pretty great. It is about a guy that is a goddamn capital G gamer, loves high difficulty gaming. He gets offered a chance to go into to basically be reincarnated and live in a world based on a video game, and he chooses the hardest difficulty for that. And then he's just got to kind of overcome. And it is a simple premise. And then they are like, oh, actually, this show has a deep lore, a lot of plot, a lot of characters, and a lot of stuff going on. And they'll never get to it. They'll never adapt all of it because there's a lot of manga. But for what it is it's pretty good one of those. I actually think that my recommendation, if you were looking for a overpowered main character anime, which I don't know if you are, but if you are looking for that, then maybe the actual recommendation would be Noble Reincarnation, Born Blessed, so I'll obtain unlimited power, which is for a good chunk of the series, our main character is like 6 years old and unbelievably overpowered and like tough as shit, which is kind of fucking hilarious that just like is his goddamn deal for so much of the series. But yeah, it's a guy who reincarnated. He is just like the 13th prince of a kingdom, of an empire, and he is gaining power and prosperity and messing people up and occasionally being very selfish, but having all of his actions be interpreted by the people around him as being very noble and caring a lot about his people, which he does, but they take it to the nth degree. It is a show that I find very watchable. And sometimes you just want that, right? Like, look, I could recommend the anime about a woman who has been estranged from her family, but then ends up adopting her daughter because, adopting her niece because her niece's parents died. And so now a woman who does not know how to be a mom or even an aunt is now living with someone who is just had her life completely destroyed and living with a stranger. And it's fucking a goddamn gut punch and beautiful. It's like, yeah, I mean, that show is like lovely. But sometimes, I don't know, like sometimes it's like, whew, oh man. That is capital D drama. It's good, but like, it's a lot. And sometimes you just want a show that is not that is just doing other fucking stuff. All right, so this goes like that. I put this on wrong, so I'm going to fix it. This goes in like that. And then this goes like that. Let's see if there are any news stories. I hope you've heard about what's going on with Cookie's Bustle. So there was a lot going on with this, and I'm real psyched about it. Kudos to the Video Game History Foundation for putting donation money and to figuring this shit out. Basically, there's an obscure goddamn computer game. Nathan says, I balanced out Journal with Witch by pairing it with You and I Are Polar Opposites. Yeah, I mean, that's a very easy... I kind of bounced off that one, but I totally understand that being like a chill thing to watch instead, or in addition to. Okay, so Cookie Bustle. It's a computer game that came out in 1999. And it's got... it's very confusing and weird. A lot of shit's going on with that. A few years ago, they got a physical copy of it. This is the Video Game History Foundation. And so it went out there, and they put up for research purposes. And they had they had the physical copy, but other people have played emulated copies of it in the past. And so they had a video out by Sebmall. You might know Sebmall from being part of the Jeff Gerstmann community and as the number one Mr. Do player in the world. He's not, but that's just very funny to say. I can't even pretend on that one. But Sebmall played the game, and so they included some video footage of the game playing, and there was a copyright troll out there making it their business to do false copyright claims, pretending like they owned the copyright to Cookies Bustle. Now, of course, playing a video game on YouTube, companies sometimes say like, oh, you can't cover this, and then you just fight it and you give them a share of or all of your earnings and you move on. Sometimes companies don't want you to play their games in any way, shape, or form. That was not the case here because it's not clear that anyone at all actually, right now in this day and age, has the rights to that game. It was a troll. Someone who goes by the name Brandon White, using the corporate name Graceware SL, sent DMCA takedown notices to the Video Game History Foundation, using the trade association UKIE, UKIE. So basically, they have a dummy corporation set up, which then used UKIE as a way to send these DMCAs. UKIE is appreciated in the industry. YouTube has a policy of just saying, what? Oh, yeah, okay. And they just believe people when they send these kinds of things. So it was a difficult process, and it made it so, like, blogs would get cease and desist for mentioning the game or mentioning that someone was out there acting in bad faith. It was this, like, continued effort to do the best they could to, like, scrub any mention. And we don't know why. Again, we don't know why this kept happening. It's just that it fucking kept happening. Let's see, yeah. Let's Play videos fan art. That's right. They sent DMCAs to fan art. And yeah, websites and creators. And so Video Game Foundation met with their lawyers, and they were like, what is our recourse? What can we do here? What's going on? There's no proof that out there that Brandon White, if that is that person's real name, we don't know. There was no proof that they had any claim to it, that they actually owned Cookies Bustle, because he's never had any evidence to it. So, via their lawyers, and because the Video Game History Foundation, the Video Game History Foundation at gamehistory.org, I'm going to put the link so you can read all this stuff in the chat as well. Yuki listened to the Video Game History Foundation, which is phenomenal, and they were they had suspended takedowns for Cookies Bustles on behalf of Graceware SL. So they are no longer going to listen to Graceware SL in this particular, in these false takedown notifications. And then hopefully other entities, because maybe this person's not going to give up, but hopefully other entities will follow suit, and this will be the end of a weird saga. So they go on to say they talked with their lawyer and they decided to share everything they learned about the rights to Cookies Bustle. It was published in 1999 to Roderick Inc. It was only published and copyrighted in Japan. The game has been out of print since its original release. It is considered to be an orphan work. Nobody actually knows who owns it at this point, but it is not believed that anyone owns it. Where is a copyrighted work where the owner is either unknown or can't be located. It is an orphan work, apparently. Brandon White, since 2021, has been taking actions over the intellectual property rights associated with Cookies Bustle, including claiming copyright ownership and filing trademark registration. So apparently literally tried to get the trademark for it. He's used his personal name, and others' filings were made under the corporate name Graceware SL. Takedown sent on behalf of Graceware, cite Brandon White as the copyright owner. We do not know who he is or where he is. The business information for Graceware SL points to a fake address in Andorra. Let's see. Sole output of Graceware has been avalanche of content takedown notices. Graceware sent takedown notices in response to playthrough videos and live streams showing Cookies Bustle gameplay, with or without commentary, screenshots, imagery, short clips of Cookies Bustle, fan art of the character Cookie Blair, a community-made add-on for Cookie Bustle that adds English language subtitles, Discord chat messages discussing the content of Cookies Bustle has also received takedown notices. It is just a cavalcade of fucking nonsense. Speed and aggressiveness. Some YouTube videos have documented his behavior. These remaining are some of the only videos of Cookie Bustle that are still available on YouTube. Since last year, Video Game History Foundation received 3 takedown notices from Graceware for materials related to Cookies Bustle in our digital archive. We received a takedown from Graceware pointing to a web page describing that we own a copy of Cookies Bustle. The page explicitly says the game files are not available. It does not show any copyrighted material, even images, yet it was still targeted for a takedown. That's right. A web page that just says we own a copy of this video game got a takedown notification. And then they break down the facts and they go on to it. The copyright registrations are not real that they used, but it was enough for Yuki. It's a whole thing. Yeah, and how he did it and how he was trying to do it and all this stuff. It really goes in depth. This is why we need more people torrenting. Well, Imjan, again, you can play Cookies Bustle. It's just that if you made a YouTube video of you playing Cookies Bustle, there was a guy that was going to send a DMCA takedown notice about the video you uploaded about Cookies Bustle. Like, that's the problem. It's not like people couldn't play this video game. It's that somebody was harassing people that were documenting a video game. Like, that was the underlying overall issue. That, at least for now, one avenue for this person to do that has gone away thanks to the Video Game History Foundation, which is awesome. Again, it goes through this whole thing here. As linked again, gamehistory.org/cookies bustle -bustle. You can see you can put all there. But yeah, you can read the whole thing. They go into unbelievable detail about all of it. And yeah, we don't know. So we don't know why. I'm going to drink a little water here. And eventually, yeah. So right now, Graceware can't use this fake company, probably fake company, can't use automated takedowns. They will have to manually submit their DMCA notices, which will then mean that this person will have to just do that, and it probably won't be a problem. The fight probably continues until this troll eventually fucking gives up. But it was a long fight, and weirdly enough, like, I don't get to say this that often, the good guys won. The troll lost and the good guys won. Now, again, For how long? I can't tell you. I don't know how long until they find other ways to do their bullshit. But right now, the automated easy way for them to do it is gone, and that rules. A couple more news stories. We're just going through some news stories. Some video game. There was a lot of, hey, since the last time I streamed a video game, streamed a build stream, I should say. There's been some goddamn news. There's some news out there, so we can talk a little bit about that. Project Helix is the working name, the underground name. Project Helix is what it's not what the next Xbox is going to be called. It's the working title internally for the next Xbox is Project Helix, and apparently it's going to play PC games, which is interesting. Project Helix will be a lead in performance and player Xbox and PC games. Now, that's all they said. We don't know. We don't know if that is all PC games, your Microsoft Store bought PC games, your games for Windows games. We don't know anything. We have no fucking idea what they're talking about, what they mean. We just know that, okay, there's going to be another Xbox. Here's the name. And also, when it comes out, please buy it. I mean, that is also implied. When it comes out, please buy it. But we don't know much about it. This is just, this is just part of the whole process of, hey, we want you to think positively. They're trying to change the conversation from, hey, what's up with this new person in charge and what happened here, and are you even gonna fucking make an Xbox? What's going on here? So, Game Pass, PC Game Pass games, I don't know. I assume I'll get to play my Commodore 64 games natively on it. Yes, Lord Crashton, I feel like like there'll be a DOS box on there, and you can just play all your DOS games. That's probably what they meant. Oh, they meant something else? Weird. I didn't know. I didn't realize they meant something else. But yeah, video games. I do believe there will be a PlayStation 6 and there will be a new Xbox. Will there be a PlayStation 7 or an Xbox after the Xbox? That I cannot tell you. I also personally don't think that there will be a Switch 3. I think Nintendo will do something else after the Switch 2 that is not the third Switch, although that would be kind of crazy. I don't think they're going to do that. But if they did, I think that would be fucking cool. The Switch 3 is just a funny idea to think about. But I think they're probably going to do a different thing. They're going to do something that's not that. That's my guess anyway. But it would be kind of fucking hilarious if they did. If they were like, oh yeah, we're going to do we're doing the Switch 3. I do not know how PlayStation 6 games will be played, but PlayStation 7 games will be played with stick and rock. Indeed, John. Indeed. That's the only way to play. Hey, GDC is going to be happening. And as part of GDC, the GDC Festival of Gaming, they have an award show for the Game Developers Choice Awards. Get it? It's the Game Developers Conference, and they have the Game Developers Choice Awards, so it's still GDC. The GDC Awards are happening, and they have they are honoring, as part of that, they have announced they're honoring 2 people. There is a Lifetime Achievement Award going to Dan Daglow, who worked on Neverwinter Nights, among many other things. Also, 1976 Dungeon. But the Neverwinter Nights part is the thing where you're like, yeah, man. Yeah, man. So he's getting a Lifetime Achievement Award. And also, they are honoring, after her passing, Rebecca Ann Heinemann, who passed away in 2025, to be honored posthumously for her trailblazing career. We talked about her in her passing, her work on Bard's Tale 3. She worked on a lot of ports of Doom, lots of ports. Baldur's Gate 2, Icewind Dale. She helped co-found Interplay and Contraband Entertainment. And she also was recognized as an advocate, both as an advocate for developers in the community, women and minority folks in gaming, but also just as a recognizable trans woman in the space, and an advocate for folks the world over. She truly was, by all accounts, and I know people who worked with her and knew her personally, just a great lady who is sorely missed. And so I am happy that GDC is honoring her at their Choice Awards. That's fantastic. Stick and Rock used to play something similar as a kid, but we used broken concrete and rebar. Yeah, I mean, use the tools you have. Make your own fun, Dirty. Whatever you need to do. But yeah, the awards will be on Thursday, March 12th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, which is again which will be 9:30 Eastern. They'll be streamed on Twitch and YouTube. And yeah, if you're looking to watch that, those are two great nominees or inductions there that I was happy to see. We can say that. I'll talk about that on Saturday. That's my Saturday story. This is a quick thing. Man, I don't know if this is a good call. I hope this goes well for them. I hope this is a success and a cool thing for our friends at Jackbox Games, because they are getting into third-party publishing. They'll be publishing games. Let's see. New division, dedicated third-party publishing. They're going to be publishing My Arms Are Longer Now by Toot Games. This is the first of several games it plans to bring to market. Toot is an Australian indie game studio. Jackbox Vice President of Business Development Andy Diaz said in a statement that the makers are unapologetically weird game are exactly the kind of creative partner we want to expand Jackbox publishing efforts. Our players have asked us for a fun single-player experience in Jackbox tone, and we look forward to seeing My Arms Are Longer Now to deliver on that. So basically, like, at least in this one example, people have asked Jackbox to make something that is not a thing that Jackbox wants to make. So instead, they're publishing a game with that vibe, which, like, makes sense, I think. To me, that, like, oh yeah, well, we're not going to make the thing that you've asked us to make because we don't want to, but we'll publish a game that goes with that, and maybe a portion of the people that buy Jackbox every year will want to check that out. I don't know. I think that's kind of neat. I hope it goes well for them, because I think that's a cool idea. They have a portal for solicitations for partners, and they describe themselves as selective. So yeah, they got a website and a portal you can put in there. They've got their QA, localization, porting, and external services, long-term life cycle planning and store management. platform and certification guidance, marketing and audience development, production and release support, funding aligned with what your project actually needs, is what they're saying. So asking Jackbox to not make Jackbox games is wild. So like Lord Crashington, but like I get that, right? Like if your life has changed and you now don't go to Thanksgiving dinner where you would play Jackbox games with your family, and you're like, I wish there was a Jackbox games that fit my lifestyle. Or you're like, I can never get enough people to play Jackbox games, you know, like, so it would be cool if Jackbox made something for me. Now when people ask that, they can say, how about a game published by Jackbox? What about that? And maybe you can shut the fuck up. That's implied. They don't say that. They wouldn't say that. I'll say that. But they wouldn't say that. I can kind of get it, Lord Crashington, you know. In a similar sense, right? If your major thought on Marathon is, wow, Marathon looks cool. I wish it wasn't an extraction shooter. Like, I get that, right? Like, they were going to make an extraction shooter. That's what they wanted to make, and they made it. But you can still wish that Bungie had made just a new Marathon game that was an extraction shooter. It's like, you know, you can't expect them to just drop it, but you can still wish it. And so, like, yeah, if you're like Jackbox, but you don't have enough people to do Jackbox parties, then yeah. If you just want a funny single player game from the Jackbox people, I can see that. I can understand it. I get it, you know. You're not going to get that, but I understand why somebody would want that. All right, we're going to panel line this leg, and then the next stream, we'll get body complete on this kit, and I think finish it, and then check out the different flight modes. So I will have to do a poll tomorrow for my $10 patrons about what I do next. But for the rest of this stream, I'm just going to do some panel lining. Get this looking good. We have some time left on the stream because, like I said, we're gonna wrap up in a bit, but we got a little time. I'd love to hear from you, friends. What are you playing right now? What are you watching? What are you up to? What are you into? I always love hearing from you about the games that you're playing or the movies that you're watching or anything like that. If you have anything going on you want to share, if you're listening to any music that you're really digging, I love hearing about that, so feel free to let me know. Lord Crash says, I'd use that video of the girl saying what holes the shapes go into for people seeing Jackbox keep making multiplayer games every year. Okay, yeah, sure. Sure, I get it. Let's see. For me, on Tuesday, I played some demos. Incombini, I think, is a great looking game. I am excited to play more of that. I will be getting that when it comes out. That was a really neat one. That was probably my favorite of the demos that I saw on Tuesday and played. I thought that was neat. That was probably my standout. Lorkai says, Jeff started streaming Marathon a moment ago. Nice. That's fun. Yeah, I mean, there are some other things that I've been playing. You know, I'm playing Hearthstone. There was some events for streamers and content creators to play Hearthstone today, and so I am getting interested in that. In the next couple of days, we'll start seeing some theory crafting videos of people playing some decks and trying those out, because there is a new expansion coming out next week, and I am looking for, not next week, the week after, right? Yeah, it comes out on the 17th, so a little less than 2 weeks, and there'll be a new Hearthstone expansion, and people seemed pretty high on it, so I am excited to check that out and start seeing some theory crafting videos, as I said. And then I'll start figuring out what decks I want to make, because I'll be doing a stream of that on the day that the new expansion comes out. I'll do a fun stream of cool things. Lashbury says, I couldn't wait for Marathon to come out, so I started playing Marathon. And it's a good thing I'm interested in this lore because that is some bullshit level design even for the 90s. Marathon launched today, so I've been playing a bunch of that. Okay, so you were playing old Marathon while you waited for new Marathon, and now you're playing Marathon. Hell yeah. Enjoy. Glad to hear it. Lord Crash is also playing Marathon. Mjon is not playing Marathon. You've been playing Persona 1, Rainbow Six Siege, the new solid snake operator. And about 2 out of 3 of the way through After War Gundam X. That's right. Also, maybe we shouldn't name games the same thing. So here's the deal, Lashbrook. When you say, I'm playing Marathon, like, I'm playing the 90s Marathon, is the caveat that you should put in there. Because there is a brand new video game called Marathon. And yes, maybe they shouldn't have called this Marathon. They should have called it some other thing. But eventually, it'll just be called Marathon 2026. And that'll just be how people refer to it, except for people that have to be pedantic about it and don't want to call it that. They'll call it something else. Okay, so this, I just realized this is not sliding, so I did something wrong. This slides when it goes up like this in this mode, and then you can put it back in the mode where it doesn't slide, and that bends. That bends, which is what you want. You want it to bend, but when this goes like this. This is supposed to slide, and it doesn't. So I did something wrong here, which is frustrating. I don't want to do something wrong. I want to be right. So now I need to take this whole thing apart here and figure out what I did wrong, which is, of course, frustrating. Yeah. So I don't know why this is not working. But there it goes. All right, it was just stuck. Now it's working fine. That is annoying. That's in the biz we call that annoying. A little fun fact about the biz. But yeah, we call that grade A annoying. Now I got to put this back together. Got to get the instructions back out because I got to rebuild. Dirty says, I watched the Capcom thing today and I'm still interested in playing Pragmata when it comes out. Currently taking a quick break from DQ7 to beat 8's Combat 7. Also found out today that I was supposed to see my sleep doctor on an annual basis. It's been almost a decade between visits. See, Dirty, that feels like a thing that someone else should have known. That you shouldn't have had to know. That you were supposed to yearly go and see that doctor. Like, that feels like something somebody should have said something before a decade. But I hope you make an appointment soon for that. And good luck to you. But yeah, that feels like something you shouldn't have had to wait so long to be told. Oh yeah, I didn't watch that Capcom thing. We didn't talk about it today because I didn't watch it. So maybe I'll watch it for Saturday. We can talk about it Saturday. I don't know. I don't know if I will. I might, but also I might not. All right, so we are done here with. This is just awkward. We're done here with the legs, and that's going to be it for this evening's stream. We made a lot of progress here, and then we finished an arm and built 2 legs, which is progress. Might not seem like it, but it is. I figured out when they stopped sending me, okay, your supplies, yeah. Lord Crash says, I finished my rewatch of Netflix's One Piece, and I didn't remember the early references to the Baroque works to foreshadow what was to come. I still love how they nailed the Nami hour-long emotional moment. That is the first big moment for the crew. Yes, I thought that the live-action One Piece was done very well. Now remember, there is coming to Netflix the One Piece, or is it the first One Piece? I can't remember. There is going to be a new adaptation of the anime coming to Netflix. So at some point, Netflix One Piece will refer to 2 different things. So I always just said the live action One Piece, but yeah, because eventually there will be 2 different Netflix One Pieces. because things aren't already confusing. Wonder Piece, yeah. But yes, I think that show does a really good job. All right, speaking of doing good jobs, good job, everybody. We came to the end of our stream. I want to thank you all so much for being here. I hope you had a great night. The plan is, we got raided by 2 different people, which whips ass and rules, of course. In order to keep the good times going and share the love. Sorry, let me just see here. Okay. We are going to go on a raid ourselves. We're going to go find some people doing cool stuff and go spend some time with them in order to keep the vibes cool. So I hope you come along on this raid with me. Jeff Gersman is playing Marathon. We're going to go see how Marathon's doing. He's in the garage. He's playing Marathon. That seems like a fine thing to go check out. Also, I'm a mod, so I should probably be there because I don't know if any other mods are around. But as John says, we always end with a raid. So yeah, let's go see what's going on with Marathon by one Jeff Gersman. Noted shooter, gamesman, but also non-extraction shooter fan. So we'll see what Jeff thinks. Thanks all so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Come back on Saturday. I'm going to keep working on this model kit and I'll probably finish it. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.